Hi, good morning. We're going to give it just a minute to see if anyone else is going to be joining us today. Welcome to LEAP's presentation on unlocking CRA funds. We're going to talk about empowering your organization for a greater impact with CRA funds. So we're just going to give it a minute or so, and then we will talk about today's topic. If you want to post a comment, let me know where you're joining us from. We would appreciate that. Feel free to ask questions throughout this presentation. This is designed to be completely interactive, and I would love to answer your questions you may have throughout this presentation. Okay, about another few seconds and we will jump in. All right, so good morning or afternoon, everyone. I'm not quite sure where you're joining us from. I'm in Las Vegas, so it is morning time for us. I'm Caitlin Kano, and I'm with LEAP Personal Finance. I'm so excited to be here today to be talking about an important opportunity for organizations like yours to expand your services by applying for CRA funds, also known as a Community Reinvestment Act funds. Specifically, we'll be discussing how CRA funds can support financial wellness programs aimed specifically at expectant and new parents in economically vulnerable situations. Throughout this presentation, I'll walk you through the key elements of CRA, how it can benefit your organization, and the steps for applying for funding. By the end of this presentation today, you're going to have a roadmap for approaching banks in your area to secure resources to empower the parents you serve. And at the end of the presentation, I'm also going to be discussing LEAP Personal Finance and kind of how we fit into this discussion. All right, so today we're going to be talking about, here I'm going to be going through my slide. All right, the agenda for today is first we're going to be talking about this Community Reinvestment Act, kind of understanding the history of it. And then we're going to talk about why financial wellness programs are a perfect fit for the CRA. Then we're going to identify CRA eligible banks in your area, kind of how to search them out and how to find them. And then we're going to be talking about approaching banks for CRA funding and then preparing your CRA proposal. All right, so let's jump in. All right, so what exactly is the CRA, the Community Reinvestment Act? Well, the CRA was enacted in 1977 as a way to encourage financial institutions or banks to serve the credit needs of their entire community, particularly the low to moderate income individuals. This law requires that banks actively participate in the economic well-being of the areas in which they operate. And traditionally, how banks have usually worked with the CRA is that they support loans and grants to low to moderate income individuals for like business development, home ownership, those kind of things. Also credit development for those individuals. But they also give donations and grants to local nonprofits, particularly to support the financial wellness of the clients you serve. So that is basically a little history of the CRA. It's been a law that's been on the books for quite a while now, but not many people know about it. So we want to talk about it today. So how does the CRA help nonprofits? Well, the great thing about the CRA is it gives banks a strong incentive to support local community development initiatives. Banks earn what's called CRA credits by funding or providing services that benefit low to moderate income people. And that's where your nonprofit comes in, right? Most pregnancy resource centers or maternity homes are organizations that support new and expectant parents. A majority of your clients tend to fall within what's called the federal poverty line, and that's $15,000 of income for an individual. So those clients you serve definitely are eligible for services that's offered by the CRA funding. If your organization serves these economically vulnerable parents, banks can fund a financial wellness program and other initiatives within your nonprofit that support their CRA obligations. Now, we're not guaranteeing they'll fund them. It's going to be a decision up to the bank, but this is a program that does give them incentives to fund these programs within your organization. All right, so why are financial wellness programs a perfect fit for the CRA? Well, first, the financial wellness programs that the banks like to run They align with the CRA goals. Financial wellness programs are an ideal fit for CRA funding because they directly address some of the most pressing issues that economically vulnerable parents face. Let's think about a typical expectant or new parent in a low income household. They're likely facing a lot of uncertainty, right? They have rising expenses because they have a new one joining their household soon. They have lack of savings. The average American has less than $400 accessible to them. And if they have a $400 emergency, they're going to have to either sell something or take on debt to offset that emergency. So, lack of savings is a big deal. They may even have household debt. They're also going to be possibly experiencing a period of unemployment while they're recovering from giving birth and having a newborn at home. So, financial education can help them not just survive, but thrive by teaching them how to create a budget, how to manage their credit, and how to save for emergencies. Also, we want to look at how the results of financial wellness programs align with CRA goals. Research shows that financial education can lead to better credit scores, higher savings rates, and more informed financial decision making. For example, a parent who completes a financial wellness course may learn how to set up an emergency fund. They may learn how to open bank accounts in traditional banking institutions rather than alternative banking institutions, which may offer predatory loans and harmful accounts that aren't going to benefit the parent. We also want to help them avoid, again, those predatory loans. We know that there's more payday lenders in their neighborhoods than McDonald's, right? So it's a very prevalent issue. And ultimately, we want to improve their overall financial health. And this is where it all ties back into the CRA. Banks benefit by seeing stronger, financially healthier customers within their communities. So it really is a win-win. Okay. So if you want to launch a financial wellness program within your organization and you want to apply for CRA funds in order to offset the expenses, hopefully pay for the entire program, how do you identify CRA eligible banks and identify tools to seek those out and apply for these CRA funds? Well, not all banks are subject to the CRA. So it's important to first identify what banks in your area are eligible so we're not wasting our time, right? Larger national and regional banks are often required to comply with CRA regulations, and these institutions have community development officers responsible for finding nonprofit partners. So remember that name, community development officers. Now, when it comes to identifying tools to help you find these CRA banks, these banks that are required to comply with the CRA regulations, you want to make sure that you go online and you search a website. It's called the Federal Financial Institutions Examinations Council. That is a mouthful. FFIEC for short. We'll put this in the notes. The Federal Financial Institutions Examinations Council. So this website has a tool that can help you search for this information. You're simply going to type in the bank and you're going to see their CRA report card. This report card is going to give information about that bank's community investments, their current community investments, where they're investing and how compliant they are with the CRA. I recommend starting with banks you already have a relationship with. Perhaps they've donated to your organization in the past, or you have local branches in the neighborhoods you serve. However, don't hesitate to reach out to new banks as they're often looking for ways to fulfill their CRA obligations. So start with the FFIEC website. Look and see what banks in your local area are required to comply with CRA guidelines. Look at their report cards, see which ones have been friendly to organizations like yours in the past, and start there. Okay, so when you approach a bank for CRA funding, we want to make sure that we are utilizing our time in the most effective way and that we are doing this in a way that's going to not waste the bank's time, but also it's going to help our organization get this funding as fast as possible. So first thing, when you're approaching banks for CRA funding, you want to make sure that you are explaining the need. You want to clearly articulate the challenges that your economically vulnerable parents in the community are facing. For example, you might share local data on poverty rates, housing instability, or lack of access to financial services. Banks need to understand why your program matters. Next, you want to highlight your impact. You want to show the bank that your program can deliver measurable outcomes. Banks want to show programs that have real, positive impacts on people's lives. Talk about the outcomes that you expect, whether it's improved credit scores, reduced debt, or increased savings. Next, you want to show how your program that you're running at your organization aligns with CRA objectives. You want to emphasize how your program directly supports the CRA goals. Banks are required to serve low to moderate income communities, and your program does that by empowering parents to make better financial decisions, right? The final thing is you want to be specific about the ask. Banks want to know exactly what you're requesting and how the funds will be used. Be clear about the financial support you need and how it'll be allocated, whether it's for staff, curriculum development, or participant incentives. All right. And finally, we want to talk about preparing your CRA proposal. So before you prepare the CRA proposal, you want to make sure you build that relationship with the CRA officers, the Community Development Act representatives at your local bank. It's not about just a one-time request, right? You want to build a long-term partnership with the CRA officer. So you want to follow up regularly, share success stories from your program, and keep them informed about how the funds are making an impact. Relationships are key to sustaining CRA funds over a time period. Okay, so when you are writing the CRA proposal, here's some things you want to just keep in mind. First is you want to introduce your organization. You want to briefly explain your mission, your history, and your current programs. Focus on how you serve economically vulnerable parents and the new parents that you are working with. Next is you want to offer a program description, kind of what you want to bring into your organization, whether it be a pregnancy resource center or maternity home, and what financial wellness program you think is going to best serve the clients that you're working with. LEAP can help you with that because we have a lot of information about our program, how LEAP perfectly aligns with the CRA goals. We are also a CRA verified organization. So when banks see that, they know that you are bringing in a financial wellness program that will definitely fit within their CRA guidelines. All right. Then you want to explain the community need and impact like we spoke about before. You want to use that local data, highlight the financial challenges to the economically vulnerable parents that you work with, and demonstrate how this program is going to help these challenges and will have positive outcome on the parents that you're working with. Then you also want to make sure you are outlining that CRA alignment, that everything aligns with the CRA program and its mission. And then finally, you want to have a funding and budget request. LEAP Personal Finance ensures that our program is within the traditional grant amount for CRA funding, which is $2,500. That tends to be about the amount that banks are willing to give for a local nonprofit to run a financial wellness program within their organization. So LEAP makes sure that our prices are low, so you're not going to be over asking when you go to the bank to ask for those CRA funds. Okay, so a little bit about LEAP. If you are considering bringing LEAP into your pregnancy resource center or maternity home, LEAP does offer a comprehensive curriculum delivered in bite-sized lessons. Our curriculum has been curated by a team of experts who have a bunch of alphabet soup after our name, and we have been working with CRA programs for a long time. So this curriculum is designed in bite-sized lessons to cover the full gamut of what your clients are facing. We offer information on accessing government and local resources. We make sure we start with showing her how to apply for local programs like WIC, SNAP, TANF, LIHEAP, all those government programs to make sure she's financially stable before we start introducing other more intensive financial wellness topics. We also offer ongoing training for money mentors in your organization. LEAP is not designed to be a standalone program. LEAP is designed to be fully integrated into all the services you currently operate. So we train a money mentor to operate within your organization to make sure your clients are keeping accountable to the program and they are completing all of the elements of LEAP. We also offer aggregated data to show program effectiveness. We don't show anything that's going to violate the mom's privacy or the parent's privacy, but we do show our data in aggregate so you can present that to the bank that you're seeking funding from. And we also offer additional information on CRA funds to make sure you are able to access those. And hopefully this is not going to be a financial burden to your organization, that a bank or a local financial institution will fund LEAP for you. Okay, so at this point, I'm willing to take any questions you may have about CRA funds. I'm not quite sure. I should be able to see these things in the comments. And if I can't, if Jenny can just send me a text, or Carolyn can send me a text of the questions you're seeing within the comments. Nothing so far. Oh, okay. So we have, what help can LEAP provide with the application for CRA funds? So that is a really great question. LEAP has handouts, and we have a bunch of information that can explain how your organization can go about the process of initially applying for CRA funds. And then we ensure that the data that we provide back to your organization regarding how your participants are going through the LEAP program is information that you can take and utilize to apply for additional funds, and also to show program effectiveness. So we have the initial help, where we help you get those and secure those funds. And then we also make sure we provide the data back to you, so you can keep reapplying for funds and keep that relationship going with the banks, right? We want to make sure that you have a long, ongoing relationship with the financial institution that's providing the CRA funds. So we will help you in that way as well. Great question. Great question. All right. Any other questions from the audience? CRA funds are ones that people often don't hear about. And people find it usually interesting when we explain how LEAP is one that can be funded by CRA funds. And banks are going to be, it's going to be up to the bank, right? It's going to be up to them whether or not they fulfill your grant request or not. But we want to make sure we give you all the tools, and we just let you know that this is a possible way to apply for funding to offset a program like LEAP within your organization. Okay, the next question is, do I have to apply for CRA funds with a local bank, or can it be located in a different state? Oh, donation received from a bank in another state. So this is going to be, again, up to the CRA fund officer within that financial institution. Generally speaking, they tend to have to locate their funds within the regions they serve, right? So if you have a local bank that is operating within your local jurisdiction, that bank will probably show preference for funding or programs within their local area they serve. But there are national banks, there's regional banks that may have offices located outside of the area that you serve, but because they're still operating within that area where you are operating, they could fund a program for you. So I hope that answer makes sense. Essentially, they do want to make sure that they are funding the programs in the areas that they are operating in. So usually if it's a local bank, it's going to be a local office within your area. But if it is a regional or a national bank, you may be dealing with a CRA officer outside of your state, but they still have they still have access to customers within your state, so they can fund a program. Great question. All right, any other questions today? I don't want to keep us too long. You can reach out to LEAP Personal Finance, info@leappersonalfinance.org, and we can provide additional information for you to make sure you have all the information you need when you go ahead and approach a local bank for funding. LEAP Personal Finance, like I said, is a CRA approved financial wellness program. So this is definitely one that can be run within your organization. LEAP is designed specifically to meet the needs of low to moderate income, economically vulnerable, expectant, and new parents. So again, another mouthful, but basically the clients you serve. We are meant to meet them where they're at. We start the program at applying for government funds, bring them all the way through all the elements of financial wellness, and eventually tackle some larger topics like creating a will, creating an estate plan. We get there throughout the course of the program. But we do start with where they're at, and we are a CRA verified organization. All right, that's all I have for you today. I see no more questions in the chat. Reach out to info@leappersonalfinance.org. Go to our website, leappersonalfinance.org, and learn about LEAP. We hope all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.